Shawarma bread, pita, flatbread, Lebanese bread. What do you call it? To our flour, I'm going to be adding my yeast. Next, I'll be adding salt to another portion of the bowl. When making yeast doughs or a recipe that calls for yeast and salt, don't add both of them together at the same side of your bowl or directly on one another because salt kills yeast. Next, I added sugar and I'm going to be mixing this up well to combine. This makes up the dry item. I'm using my mixer. You definitely can use your hand. This is the softest and the simplest pita bread recipe you can get. I'm adding water gradually, little by little. Different flour types absorb water differently. So you add your water little by little till you form a non-sticky dough. And then I'm going to knead for 15 minutes. I'm using the hook attachment of my mixer or the dough attachment. If you are kneading with your hand, you knead for 20 minutes. This is well kneaded. I'm going to slightly grease my hand with oil and I'm going to form this dough into a tight ball and prove it for 1 hour. Please, to get exactly the same texture as my pita bread, you have to follow the recipe just the way it is. Shape it into a tight ball. Cover with your plastic wrap or cling film and proof for an hour. And this is ready for the next stage. I'm going to transfer this dough to a slightly floured surface. Be careful with your application of flour when working with yeast-raised dough or with doughs so that you don't add excess flour while mixing or while kneading or while rolling out. Now I'm going to divide this dough into 4 equal parts, or you could weigh them to be 114 grams each. Then form each dough into a tight ball. Place on your slightly floured work surface and slightly flatten each dough. Please remember to subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment if you enjoyed this video or a review about what you want me to work on next. Now I'm going to cover this and allow it to rest for 15 minutes. Please don't miss or omit any of the resting period of this dough. It is very, very important. If you want a very soft pita bread, you need to work according to the recipe. Now I'm going to slightly flour my work surface and I'm going to roll out this dough to a very thin dough or to a thin disc. The thinner your dough, the puffier it's going to be. So it has to be very thin. Also make sure when rolling out, your dough is as round as it could be. And make sure there are no cracks or tears. If there are cracks and tears, the heat is going to escape out of those cracks or tears when you are baking it. And you're not going to have those desired pockets you want in your pita bread. Now this bread can be used for shawarma. You could stuff it with whatever you want. You could even add toppings on it. Now I'm going to place this on a floured baking tray and cover it to allow it rest again for another 15 minutes. Next, heat up your skillet or your pan. The heat of this pita bread has to be very high. That is, your skillet or your oven has to be extremely hot. Bread recipes requires hot temperature to bake well. Now I'm just using a cranked spatula to slightly press the top of the dough. You can notice those puffs. The essence of this is just to distribute the bubbles forming on the pita bread, to distribute it evenly. Now this is beginning to puff, and I just love this aspect. And this is what you want your pita bread to look like. Like I said, your heat has to be extremely high, and your skillet or your oven has to be very hot. You can definitely bake this. The advantage of baking this is you can make more than one pita bread at a time, but when using a skillet like this, you just have to work one after the other. Flip and continue heating up. If you're working with an oven, you don't have to flip, just leave it in your oven and it's going to do the work of puffing off itself. And this is perfect and is ready. Repeat the same procedure for the rest dough. If you are still watching, it means you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. Immediately you remove your pita bread from your pan or your oven, you have to place them in between a damp kitchen towel. This creates moisture and leaves the pita bread still soft. I'm just separating the pita bread. These are ready. You can eat them plain like this, dip in a sauce, add some topping or use as wrap. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, like this video, leave me a comment. It really encourages me. See you next week.